I talked about this topic many times, but it looks like I need to go into a little bit more detail because it seems like a lot of people suffer from this, what do you say, mental blockade or wrong view. So there was a post on the subreddit, and the person was like critical of strict lay people and people promoting celibacy. And I thought this person is probably very dependent on sensuality, I assume, but then that person sent me a message and said he is in fact celibate. So that is a problem. And instantly I saw another comment on another post. So this person decided to be celibate and a monastic from some other tradition commented on his topic and said lay people aren't expected to be celibate. He was like, why are you even doing this? So, and that how he framed that statement is telling, really. So if you ask this monk, then why are you celibate? And he would say, it implies that he would say, because I am a monastic, I am expected to be celibate. That's why I am celibate. It looks like that's his reason pretty much, and that is basically Silabbata-paramasa. That's my duty, to be celibate. That's the first fetter. And that's connected, that's like deeply connected with right view, overcoming that fetter. It's like very fundamental to right view. And you need to ask yourself, do I really know why restraint is directly related to knowledge? Do I really know for myself? Or do I just assume it's true because the Buddha said, or do I just think I keep the precepts, but I don't see any connection? So this is the case with like 99.9% of Buddhists, it seems like. They keep the precepts for its own sake, for I'm a Buddhist, I keep the precepts. But what's the connection between the precepts and samadhi and right view and knowledge, nirvana? What is the connection? I feel like almost nobody can explain the connection. I don't see anywhere. So then I need to theorize why. I don't directly have access to the minds of these people. I have to just make theories about it. And then this is my theory. So when the Buddha says knowledge, they think it's like a knowledge they learn at school. So you You can memorize it. You can have some understanding, like a table, making tables, and linking this. This is linked to this. Just taking in information and maybe making up some concepts around them. But so that kind of knowledge is not related to your actions, your views, your behavior. It is completely unrelated. Okay. You don't have to be celibate to be like successful in mathematics, for example. They are completely separate domains. But the domain of Dhamma is not like it is not on that domain. That information domain, that kind of like you observing it information. It's not that kind of investigation or knowledge. It is completely different kind of knowledge. And the Buddha states direct knowledge, bodily knowledge. There are like definitions, different aspects of it. So you just can't take for granted your understanding of what knowledge even means. Okay. And the Buddha said, for example, somebody who is not restrained from sensuality in the body and in the mind for a long time, there is no possibility he will achieve that knowledge. So, do you know why there is no possibility? You could. Most people, I think that okay, restraint is something good, something, but this meditation, this Dhamma it's like another stuff, different stuff. But then why did the Buddha said it is impossible to get that knowledge? So you can like accept it. Okay, the Buddha said it must be true. You can accept it, even have a view that okay, restraint is necessary to get this knowledge. But do you directly see the connection? So that's the issue, I think, for like most people. And most people think that knowledge is like the worldly knowledges must be, because it's the only kind of knowledge that they know. So when the Buddha says knowledge, they think every other knowledge that they have. So, but if you think about like every other knowledge you have, it depends on the world around you, the people around you, what they say, what on their views, they do. Concepts around you, your views are like influenced by them, and the one with right view is not influenced by the people around him. So for example, every other person on the world tell you that, for example, restraint isn't related to this knowledge, would you be still like convinced that it is related and it is like required? Do you know for yourself? It's even the suttas, like you can see many times people questioning each other. They say, do you have this view, but is it because the teacher told you, or do you know for yourself it is true? Beyond a reasonable doubt. You are like deeply sure that it's true. That's the kind of so I avoided to explain this in detail because you need to see that relation for yourself, really. That's the point. And if I tell you exactly the relation, then you might take that as another information in place of your not knowing. And this person told me when he told me he's celibate, he's critical because he doesn't think that restraint is necessary for knowledge. That's his view, he said. He has that view. So that you may not see the connection, and not seeing the connection is the state of photogenic. Okay, that's the standard. It is not like a fault, or it's a fault, but it is normal to not see that connection. But not seeing that connection, if you have the view that they don't have a connection, then that becomes a wrong view. But if you recognize that, oh, okay, I don't understand this part, it seems like a really important part, that I need to investigate it for myself. What could it be? The knowledge is the Buddha is talking about. What kind of knowledge is it? You need to investigate and meditate on that topic for a long time, and that's not comfortable to acknowledge that you don't know. You have this big gap of ignorance, and that's why that having that view becomes very comfortable. That is how it is. That's why people have views, because it saves you from that discomfort. And incidentally, sensuality also saves you from discomfort. You start seeing those connections. What is that discomfort? Discomfort, the Buddha described the forms, the eye is attacked by forms, the ear is attacked by sounds. And so what does that even mean for you, for example? You might take that like an allegory, or it's like an interesting story. It's an idea, but in order to see why that's relevant, you need to restrain. When the Buddha tells you, okay, you should abandon the I, what do? You pull out your eyes. What does that even mean? So if you're unrestrained, any meaning that they have will be theoretical for you. It will have, they are an idea for you. They are not the kind of knowledge the Buddha is talking about. So the eye is attacked by forms. So then the pressure arises on that account. The eye is harassed, okay? The body is harassed. and that's uncomfortable. So, and sensuality is the management of that discomfort. Okay, avoiding that discomfort, elevating that discomfort. That is sensuality. So, as long as you are dependent on sensuality, your establishment of your mind, the establishment of your mind is on the domain of sensuality. And when the Buddha talks about the sense spheres, the aggregates, all of them are completely on a different domain. Okay? They don't apply to your establishment of your mind, so they will just go over your head, basically. They don't apply to you, basically. And with your what is the opposite of patient endurance, like avoidance, dependence on sensuality, that is your tendency, like underlying tendency to manage that pressure constantly. That attitude is the opposite of what's required to see what the Buddha is talking about. For example, get a sense, in order to get a sense of the sense spheres, the I, you can only get a sense of them through pressure. That's the only, you only have access to them through erism, pressure. You can't directly attend to them. Okay. When the pressure is arised, when the body is attacked, when it is harassed, and you're enduring without, constantly managing the symptoms, then you get this, indirectly get accustomed to the domain of form. You are like it starts to like stick, what the Buddha teaches about the form, group, what is matter? Matter is what is that which oppresses. So you're oppressed by forms. So you start to get a sense of that, and that is the kind of knowledge is required, okay, to make sense of everything the Buddha is talking about. If your establishment on the mind is not on that level, is not withdrawn from the sensual domain, how much you study Buddhism, you won't get correct kind of knowledge. So, if you still don't really see the connection, even though you are restrained, it seems like a lot of people, maybe you are just managing in another way with, so I see another like similarity in these people. They are like very zealous about their meditation methods. So a meditation method like focusing and whatever, they can take place of sensuality, managing that pressure. Instead of usual sensual stuff, you get another technique to elevate that pressure, and you are still not patiently enduring. So why did the Buddha say patient endurance is the utmost austerity? It is the best quality you can have, because through it you can, through patient endurance, that kind of direct knowledge can arise only through that. There isn't any other way. Okay? If there was any other way, the Buddha would have said so.